So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube, Darryl here from Z4 Games, bringing you an update to my Noble Knight deck profile. Now, Noble Knights follow the story and the arc, obviously the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, Excalibur, and the whole lore like that. These are, you know, probably one of the nicest looking decks in max rarity as well, and are also very, very fun. They rely on warrior monsters that then become equipped with different swords or different equipped cards, of course, that then give them additional effects. That in turn then allows them to beef up into their big XYZ monsters, or of course Isolde and stuff like that, to extend boards, or break back row, break front row, stuff like that, and then move further forward into game, basically. So, without further ado, I'm going to take you through this profile. I've kept it as pure as I possibly can, and we're going to go from there and show you what we have. So, we start off with, of course, triple Noble Knight Madrot. This is, of course, your most important Noble Knight monster. This one is, of course, you equipped. It's treated as a normal monster. Most of the Noble Knights are treated as normal monsters if they don't have an equipped card with them. If it has an equipped card, it becomes dark and its level is increased by 1. And then once per turn, if you control no other monsters, you special summon one Noble Knight monster from your deck in face-up defense position, except himself. And if you do, destroy one equipped spell you control. So you have to control one equipped spell with Madrot and no other monsters. And then, of course, it allows you to bring another one out, and that gives you straight rank 4, or of course, link to potential. We then play triple Noble Knight Castaigne. This card's insanely good. It was one of the more recent ones we got in Saiho. This one is, once it's used as XYZ or link material, the monster gains the following effect. If this card is special summoned, you can normal summon one Noble Knight monster during your main phase this turn, in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of the turn except Noble Knights. So, some of the Noble Knight cards, mainly the newer ones, actually lock you into Noble Knights. So you have to be very, very careful on how you're going to extend, because they don't exactly have a powerful defense in a monster. Like, the most defense they have all comes from their equipped spells by giving your cards can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, extra 1,000, extra 500 here and there. So you've got to be very, very careful that you know where you're going once you make the plays and lock yourself into Noble Knights. Sometimes it's safer not to lock yourself into Noble Knights where able, and instead choose to go into something like a rank 4 Abyss Dweller or Baguska, something that will stun your opponent a little bit more, and then go for your full kind of Noble Knight plays the turn after. Now keep in mind, this card does say you can normal summon and you can only gain the effect once per turn. So even if you use 2 Castaignes, it doesn't mean you can normal summon twice, from my understanding. It works the same as if you were to Brilliant Fusion, because you only get to gain an additional normal summon once per turn. So you could... Some people think that you can go 4 times. I honestly don't think that is how it works. You just give the additional 1 normal summon, not 2 normal summons. So we'll then play triple Noble Knight Brothers. This card is your basically Degustal Emerald for the deck. So it can only attack if you control exactly 3 Noble Knight monsters. Very rarely do you ever want this to attack. When this card is normal summoned, you get to special summon 2 Noble Knight monsters from your hand, but it has to be up to 2 Noble Knight monsters. They have to be very, very specific, and then you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Noble Knights. But the main effect that you're going to be doing, because you're going to bring this guy off of his old, is you get to target 3 Noble Knight or arms in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. So the 4 equipped spells that you're sending, sometimes you can actually recycle them with your brothers and go from there. Then we play quite a few one-offs. So you've got the one, Gawain. This one is just an additional summon. So if you control a light normal monster, you special summon this card from your hand in face-up defense position. So again, it's just an additional extender. Irvin, this one's insane. I love this one. So if a Noble Arms equipped spell becomes equipped to this card, you can special summon 1 Noble Knight token, level 4. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Noble Knights. Only use the effect once per turn. So while this card is equipped with a Noble Arms, it gains all other Noble Knight monsters you control gain 500. So it's a nice little boost. The idea is you get yourself a token, and then you get to link this and the token off and go straight into an Isolde. So if you can't get to the Madrot, this is a nice additional kind of summon. Or you can bring this off of Madrot, but then you get to equip this with the equipped card that Madrot destroys, as long as it's a re-equipped equipped card. and then this will give you a token, so you can use those, keep your Madrot on board, and then you will end up with a Isolde plus Brothers, which will shuffle back some of your materials to draw a card, and then you'll have the rank 4 King Artorius. We've then got the one Boars. Obviously, everyone knows the standard combo of Boars and Madrot. So Madrot, summon Boars. The equip card that was on Madrot goes to Boars. Boars then reveals 3 cards from your deck, or Noble Arms cards from your deck, and then your opponent randomly adds one of them to your hand, and then you send the rest to the graveyard. So that's where you can get the trap to the graveyard, or you can get any of your other Noble Arms to your hand and graveyard as well. Because then as soon as you XYZ with those cards, all those cards that have been sent to the graveyard, if they are the spells, just go straight onto your Noble Knight King. We've got the one Dristan. This is just to deal with some back row as well. And while you control another Noble Knight monster, your opponent cannot target your monsters with less than 1800 attack. Back in the day, that was a big thing. For attacks or with card effects. When a Noble Arms equipped spell is equipped to this card, target one face-up card on the field, destroy that target. So it's a when effect as well, so it can miss timing. However, if something else was to be destroyed and Dristan was still on board because your opponent doesn't know what they like, doesn't know how the deck operates, the equip spell then can be chosen to re-equip to Dristan. Then I believe you'll have the ability to pop during your opponent's turn, which can really put them off. One card that I also like playing as well is Pellinor. You don't have to. I just like the idea of getting to target a Noble Arms equip spell, equipped to this card, and one face-up monster my opponent tries and destroy them, and they get to draw 1 card. Obviously, this card can't attack, but it doesn't matter because you'll end up using it as link material or, of course, XYZ material. It's just a nice little additional clearance, and then the top deck draw as well. One Noble Knight Eastard. You banish 2 Noble Knight monsters from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. You can only use the effect once per turn. A Synchro or XYZ of a Noble Knight monster using this card as material cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when that monster is special summoned. The only time this one will become relevant as just a level 5 dart is when you're going to hard summon your Sacred Noble Knight of King Articus. Now, by hard summoning that, you're only going to be using that with a Madrot or like a Boars when it's got an equipped spell attached to it. And 9 out of 10 usually link up. So this is just for an additional extender to go into your Isolde. Finish off the other one-offs is Guinevere, Queen of the Noble Arms. Again, this is another Noble Arms equipped card. If it's equipped to a light monster, if it would be destroyed by card effect, you can destroy this card instead. If it's equipped to a dark monster, if the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster at the start of the damage step, you can destroy that monster, then destroy this card. So it's a nice little pop, and it gives the card it's attached to an extra 300 attack. Then for the non-Noble Knight actual monsters, but still within the archetype, is double Merlin. So Merlin is really cool in a sense, but you've got to be very careful because if this gets ashed, you're basically the same with Madrot as well, your turn can just end. So you can tribute this card, special on 1 Noble Knight monster from your deck. You cannot special on monsters to turn you activate this effect. It's set Noble Knights. Quick effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon 1 Noble Knight, we're very rarely going to do that. And then quick effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. XYZ summon 1 Noble Knight XYZ monster you control. So you can, if your opponent was to go, okay, end phase, set. If they leave you with 2 rank 4, level 4s on board, you go, okay, Merlin effect engrave, banish XYZ. Very rare that you'll ever use that effect, but you do have the option to do so should you wish. And then I played 2 Morgan. Now this is just to keep it pure. If you wanted to put in stuff like Ashes and Ogres, by all means you can do so. So when your opponent activates a card or effect while you control a Noble Knight monster and a Noble equip, so you have to meet both conditions. Quick effect, you can send this card from the hand to the graveyard, destroy 1 Noble Arms equip spell you control, and if you do, negate the activation. Only use the effect once per turn. So again, the idea of this is by destroying that equip spell, you can then either reattach it to another one of your monsters, or of course, you can reattach it to the monster if it hasn't already been done so this turn. And it is just a all-out negation in the sense that it's just when your opponent activates a card or effect. So it covers all bases, but it does mean that you have to have all of the abilities, like you have to have the equip spell and a monster equipped with it. So you've got to be very careful. And then onto the spells, we play triple Heritage of the Chalice, beautiful looking card. So you get to add 1 Noble Knight monster or Noble Arms card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, so it gives you recyclability, plus it also gives you the search of any of the counterparts you will need in order to complete your combo. If a Noble Knight monster equipped with a Noble Arms equipped spell is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard while this card is in the graveyard, you get to add this to your hand. You can only use 1 Heritage of the Chalice effects per turn and only once that turn. So you've got to be very careful that you haven't used the first effect and then attempt to use the second effect as well. Triple Call by the Grave, just because we want to be stopping any pesky interruptions. And then onto the Noble Arms equips, we play double Destiny. This basically, if a face-up Noble Arms or a warrior monster would be destroyed by card effect or battle. It is not destroyed once per turn, so they have to destroy it twice if it's equipped with Destiny. 2 Caliburn, I think this is the best one. I love this card. So you can only control one of them. It gains 500 attack, and then once per turn you can gain an additional 500 life points. So the idea is you put this, for example, you put this on Madrot, you use the effect to gain 500. Because it's not a hard once per turn, it's a soft per turn. You can only revive it a hard once per turn. So the idea is you use Caliburn, gain 500. You then use Madrot's effect, destroying this, re-equipping this to boards. You then use the effect again to gain an additional 500. So already you're plus 1,000. Let's say time gets called, you're winning. Then of course you link off and this one will go. The last of the 2s, we play 2 Excalibur. This one unfortunately doesn't re-equip when it goes to the graveyard. It's mainly in there to be banished to then rank up your XYZ from your Articus, King of the Noble Knights, to your Sacred Articus, and it just gives you that pop, back row pop, and then front row pop as well, all in one turn. 1 Arderfielder. You can only control 1 Noble Knights equipped with a warrior. Once per turn you can type 1 set card your opponent controls. The equipped monster permanently loses 500 attack, and if it does you get to destroy that target. So it's a nice additional back row pop, and then again it can re-equip to a warrior monster if it's destroyed or sent from the graveyard. 1 Gelatin, this is the plus 1k, but then during the standby phase that monster loses 200 attack. I then also like to play 2 Glory of the Noble Knights. I really would have liked to seen this come in a foil in the Megatins, but it's basically a quick effect, and target 1 Noble Knight monster you control equipped with 1 equipped spell from your deck, then that card equipped to that target. You can only use the effect once per turn. So this is a hard once per turn, but the idea, the way I see it is, it's another way of getting an equipped card that you desperately need to get your combos going. And then on top of that, if you did have 2 of them, you can set one during your opponent's turn, and let's say they try to destroy something, you chain this, and then you can put whatever equipped spell you might need. So Excalibur, so it can't be targeted, Destiny, so it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect once per turn, and that can cause your opponent a couple of issues if they can't clear the monster off naturally. We then got the 1 Rhoda and the 1 Monster Reborn for genericy. And then, of course, the most beautiful card in the deck, in my opinion, and that is Until Noble Arms Are Needed Once Again. Now, I absolutely love this. I don't know if the glares, I'm going to try and take it out of the sleeve so you can see it, and hope the light hits it. But in Prismatic, I absolutely love this card. Like, you can just start seeing it twinkle a little bit there. The artwork is stunning, probably one of the best artworks with the detail in the background that I've seen in a long, long time. So, play this at 3. It gets you activate cards from the top of your deck equal to a number of Noble Arms equipped spells you control, and if you do, add 1 of them to your hand. Also, so it's just, you don't activate the top cards of your deck equal to a number of Noble Arms equipped spells you control, and if you do, you get to add 1 of them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the top of your deck in any order. So you get to stack your deck, and you get to add any card. So if you were to be playing Ash Blossoms, Super Polys, anything like that you want to be putting in the sides, if this mills it, you just go, alright, I'll take that one then. And then you stack your deck. So it's really, really cool in that sense. Also, it gets to be searched off of boards as well. Then if it is sent to the graveyard, except the turn it was sent, you can banish this card from the graveyard, and then special summon from your deck 1 Noble Knight monster with a different name from the card you already control or in your graveyard. So again, it can get you out any monster that you may need to extend your board. So really cool card, beautiful card as well. Moving on to the extra deck. Okay, this is quite straightforward for the Noble Knights. We play triple Articus, King of the Noble King of the Noble Knights, King of the Noble King, good wording. So this is 2 level 4 Noble Arm monsters. When this card is XYZ zoned, you target up to 3 Noble Arm equipped spells with different names in your graveyard, equip them to this target. Once per turn, detach 1 material from this card, destroy any number of spells and trap cards onto the field up to the number of Noble Arms equipped spells you control. So Heavy Storm, non-targeter, beautiful. Double Sacred Noble Knight of King Articus. 2 level 5s, very rare that you actually hard summon this. You'll be bringing it out with banishing Excalibur. When this card is XYZ summon, again, target up to 3 Noble Arms equipped spells with different names in your graveyard, equipped into this target. Once per turn, detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 other monster on the field, destroy that target. If it didn't target, that would have been beautiful. If this card on the field is sent to the graveyard, you target 1 level 4 or higher Noble Knight monster in your graveyard and special summon it. We've then got 2 Custane. I love this card as well. The most recent XYZ received 2+ level 4 Noble Knight monsters. You can detach any number of materials from this card, then target that many cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you special summon 1 Noble Knight XYZ monster from your extra deck, except himself. and if you do, attach this card to that monster from the graveyard as material. It's treated as an XYZ summon. So it basically lets you get into this guy or this guy just for being destroyed. And you're going to be bouncing loads of cards as well. So that's always a good thing when stuff doesn't like being destroyed or can't be destroyed. And then of course we've got double Isolde. Straightforward, everyone knows what Isolde does by now. Goki's tried to ruin it. Luckily it didn't get banned. So yeah. And then we go into kind of the 6 cards that aren't within the Noble Knight archetype but are just very, very good in the deck. So you've got Abyss Dweller. This can be any generic rank 4 that you wish, or Tornado Dragon. It could even be like a Bagooska, Exton Knight, anything like that. Then I like playing Hippostogen. Again, very, very particular because you've got to make sure that your monsters aren't dark when they're equipped with stuff. But it's just nice to make this and give all of your cards, including your XYZs, an additional 500 boost. So overextension, but it just gives you another option in the extra deck. We've then got the 1 Nightmare Phoenix and the 1 Nightmare Cerberus, with your boss monsters of the 1 Borreload and the 1 Boral Sword. Again, can be unicorns, can be Avramax, Equimax, anything you want it to be. Like I said, most of the cards you're going to be using to extend lock you into Noble Knights, which is why you don't want to over rely on certain cards in your extra deck. You want to make sure that what you're relying on in your extra deck is all Noble Knight monsters that are going to do the job for you. But yeah, this is why I love Noble Knights. They're one of the nicest looking decks. Very, very fun to play. And, you know, I just, yeah, generally love them. I think it's such a good archetype as well. So yeah, it's one of my favourite decks. Surely love them. Very, very fun to play. And I've also seen, so shout out to Tom as well, who's gone off to uni at the moment, but he was playing Noble Knights as well. And it's always great to see Noble Knights floating around the game in the modern age. So yeah, I hope you like this. Hope this gives you a couple of ideas for your own build. Please give it a massive thumbs up if you did. Subscribe, share the channel. And as always, until next time, guys, happy dueling. What's up, YouTube? Dad here from Zephyr Games. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always guys, happy dueling.